There's a saying in construction, it's the acronym is TIC. This is construction. Construction can be classified as rocket science. Not anybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. You either a construction individual, you either carry that DNA or you don't. This is 15 years in the making.
Feel the heat. No holding back, no playing it safe. We're taking up space, we're setting the pace. Louder than ever. Here we come. Unfiltered AF.
Today on Unfiltered AF, we've got a guest that was previously with us. And you'll see a trend now that we do get some of the guests back to retell their story or to give us an update where they currently are at. And then it's a privilege and an honor to have Trevor Naude, the founding member and CEO of 44 Energy. Now, you got to know Trevor with our previous episode as Meat is Meat. So Trevor is a serial entrepreneur. His history, his experience speaks for itself. He was managing director of a large listed company. Listed, correct? Correct. Listed company. And he's built a very solid career over the last couple of years. But Trevor, tell me, that didn't come without some turmoil, without some challenges. And then 44 Energy, or the 44 brand, was birthed. Welcome.
Thank you, Elkan. Thank you for this opportunity. Collaboration is always amazing.
Yeah. Please tell us more. How did this happen? Where was this birth? How does Meat is Meat tie into your 44 brand? And what does 44 mean? Let's start there.
God speaks in numbers. So the number 44 made its way into our life and became the foundation of our brand. So the 44 you'll see carries through 44 Global Group, 44 Energy. Didn't carry through on the meat because that's Meat is Meat.
Yes.
But the 44 is a foundational number. But let's not get too much into that.
No, 100%. So, but the brand nonetheless was birthed. And you say meat is meat. It's meat is meat. It's meat is meat. But the reality is you are dabbling with quite a few types of industries, if we can put it that way.
Correct.
But 44 Energy, we're going to focus on that for today. And this is your main business, correct?
Yes.
So 44 Energy is a renewable energy business.
Correct.
Focusing in the solar EPC space.
Electrical contracting.
Electrical contracting. So it's quite a diverse business.
Correct.
How did this start, Trevor?
So 15 years in the making on the construction electrical contracting side. Had the privilege of building mines in Africa, upgrading ports and building iron ore mines from Liberia all the way down to Tanzania, Ghana, everything in between. Zambia, we did extensive work there. So really in the listed entity, kicked off my career as a minority shareholder in that organization and got a feel for building electrical contracts right the way across the African continent.
Amazing. Sure. So this just shows your experience and the skill set that you have developed over the last 15 odd years.
Yes.
to make you an authority in this space as
Correct.
well. Right. So, but Trev, this didn't come without some turmoil and challenges, or was it an easy sailing, plain going thing?
There's a saying in construction, it's the acronym is TIC. This is construction. Construction can be classified as rocket science. Not anybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. You either a construction individual, you either carry that DNA or you don't. This is 15 years in the making.
Okay, so if we go back 15 years and then your tenure at this listed company, that's where you gained a lot of your experience.
Correct.
A typical day in the life of Trevor Naude, what did it look like back in the day?
So back in the day, every contract was secured through a very, very small team. It was also secured in an environment where we had extensive relationships. So we didn't really step outside of those relationships. We had a very core relationship base of clients. We trusted each other. And it was interesting how those deals were done on a handshake. although there were contracts in the background, all those deals were managed on a traditional handshake, and it's kind of the way I like to do things. You do what you said you were going to do, despite the contract governing it in the background, and that's what brings you back into that environment. If you mess up a construction job, you're not coming back. You will never be invited back because the client will not want to go through that pain. Not that you do things perfectly every time, but if you do what you said you would do, despite taking the knock in certain instances, you will be invited back to the table. And that has formed the foundation of 44 Energy at the moment, where if I can just step into that environment, every deal we're busy with is a referral. Every deal we're busy with is in an environment where trust is being built, because trust has to be built in that environment. Perception can always be the killer. You're not supplying a box. You're not taking a product, purchasing it and delivering it to the customer. And that's what distinguishes somebody in the sector. You are engineering solutions, you are managing chaos in an environment where we might have engineered one thing, but as you start to deliver that thing, especially in the electrical space, you begin to realize that what you designed or what you envisaged up front is not the deliverable. And so you have to adapt it, your team have to be able to adapt to that, and you must be able to deliver what you said you would deliver, just in that, call it, for lack of a better word, a chaotic environment, which is construction.
So with the solar space, I know it's booming in South Africa. And the start to that was load shedding. But currently, we know that load shedding is days gone.
Yes.
It's over. But what benefit does solar still have for the end user, either be it commercial or residential, despite the fact that our supply is quite stable these days?
Well, the supply isn't stable. There might not be load shedding, but poor maintenance has contributed to businesses still suffering power outages and then spending large amounts of cash on diesel. A typical diesel generator would cost you 7 to 8 rand a kilowatt hour, which is more than double the price that you'd pay for it from Eskom. And if the generator's not working properly, then you don't have any power, if there's any maintenance issues on your generator. So there is a significant benefit to putting solar systems in, whether you end up financing it off the back end of what you would spend on a monthly basis on electricity, or whether you fork out the cash and put it in. There is a significant benefit from a residential homeowner all the way through to large business owners, agriculture. These systems are going in, and there's a significant benefit for it, which it's calculable. Once you understand the capital investment, one can then offset that against the premium that we're currently paying for electricity when the reliability is not there.
So as our viewers and most of you know, that I'm part of a group, BNI, Business Network International, and one of our members this week, he runs a large factory in Vereniging. So in our meeting this week, he was taking a very urgent call, and I can't even explain how big his facility is, but he runs quite a production facility, and they've been having supply issues in the area, and his team just let him know that, listen, supply is off and they do not have solar yet. Maybe we can connect you up. I'll see what I can do there.
I know someone.
Yeah, we know someone, right? And he dropped this line that for him to run the generators costs him 30 to 35,000 rand a day.
It's exactly that.
And that's just the direct cost of the generator. That's not downtime, because your supply goes down. You've got an hour maybe that you need to change over. There's a process for every facility or generator. I don't know what that process might be, but you lose production time. Some factories, you need to restart machinery. They need to cool down. Then you need to reheat them and stuff like that. So there's also a massive cost factor.
Correct.
To that, where stable supply will help you with production time as well, should there be a supply issue, right?
100%.
So what would you reckon, where is solar heading towards in South Africa? from a commercial point of view and a residential point of view? Where is this heading?
So currently, solar equipment is at an all-time low cost. From when I started in this industry 5 years ago up to now, it's less than half of the capital outlay. The talk in the industry is that is going to start to turn now, especially with certain international oil restrictions, shipping restrictions, and overall costs going up. So it is the right time to look at a solar system which is less than half of what it was 5 years ago, and that is set to go up.
Cool. Let's get back to the business side of things. Running a business is by no small feat easy. And as a business owner, we all face these challenges on a daily basis.
Correct.
How do you stay motivated? Despite getting that call, getting that email that you hope wouldn't be that email, but something different. Or this team member does that, and that team member does this, and you need to sort things out on a daily basis, right?
Yes.
How do you stay motivated, Trev?
You have to. You're building something for yourself, and I think that's motivation in itself. Many business owners will talk about relationships or business relationships, partnerships that they embarked on that went south. Partnerships aren't easy. There are very few partnerships that start and run, for a longevity. And I've been through some partnerships which just didn't work out. So you end up starting something on your own. In this case, I've got a partner of 31 years of friendship. I don't want to mess that up. And but it's a phenomenal partnership that I believe should have been there from the beginning. But I am significantly motivated to build a legacy for my family and to leave something behind from this business.
How do you choose your team?
Very carefully. Going back to that statement that construction's not for everyone, you can't pick just a very good electrician. You can't just pick very good people at what they do for the sake of that and put them into a construction environment. You just take the residential space. I'm taking a team and I'm placing them into somebody's home. This is their private space. Who are put in that space or who we select to go into that space is pivotal. Because you're entering into a client's personal space. Often you're entering into the heart of their home to install equipment and to do minor changes inside their home. You've got to have the right people for that. So it's a very, very interesting selection process.
So just shifting to another conversation where government is trying to pin down certain tariffs and taxes on renewable energy, solar systems, because you become a generating plant or something like that in your own right, correct? So
Correct.
It
You
can
become
be
an IPP.
Independent
power producer.
Okay, IPP. So at the end of the day, you can generate electricity from your system, if I understand this correctly, and feed that back into the grid.
Correct.
You can.
Only in Cape Town, and selected commercial clients which have established power purchase agreements with utilities and with Eskom and with the various councils.
But if memory serves me, when load shedding was at its peak, Eskom actually incentivized solar systems.
They did.
But now they want to tax. They want to,
Correct.
what's the word? They want to fine us for having a solar system.
They want to levy your production. So that's why they want everybody to register with them, so that once everyone has registered their systems, they can then go back and apply a tariff against the energy you're producing.
And this is a hot topic in the renewable energy, especially solar power plant space, if we can put it that way, where government initially incentivized solar systems when load shedding was at a peak time high, because this was the only solution they had to release or put relief on the grid.
Correct.
For homeowners and commercial properties to become independent power producers, IPP.
Correct.
You mentioned that phrase, Nana, as well. So, but there's now for some a price to potentially be paid. And I know it's not it's not in law yet.
Not law.
It's not law yet. Well, it's not law.
It's not law.
It's not law. tell us.
That's Outer's approach. They're taking the legal approach and stating that utilities cannot just come through the back door and levy free power or levy power that they did not invest in the first place.
Exactly. And for those who don't know, Outer, Dwayne Divenage, if I'm correct, they are it's his organization that fought in Gauteng for e-tolls to be scrapped,
Correct.
which was successful.
Correct.
We know that it was
Correct.
7, 8, 9 years. So it was a long process. So the reality of it, you off camera now rightly said that there's already been postponements for
Correct.
what's happening in the solar space. Several. So, and we do assume that there's going to be a whole bunch of other postponements as well because Outer is fighting this.
Correct.
So then the question, you want to add something
So
to that?
the interesting thing is, the argument is that the legal aspect is that I need a certificate of compliance on my installation. There is absolutely no requirement for you to have to register your system because there's no framework to patch that into. So Eskom now want you, or the utility want you to come and register your system with them. And the Outer argument is there's no legal framework for that. The legal framework is your installation done in accordance to SABS standards, and is it legal, and therefore a certificate must be issued, and that's the only requirement. And that's the Outer angle. That's what they're fighting for.
Fantastic. But at the end of the day, solar system is still worth the investment.
Absolutely.
Despite whatever is going, all the noise in the background, let's call it all the noise in the background, because we know how things go in South Africa. But let's be positive about this. The reality is, a solar system, from my point of view, as a user as well, has brought stability.
Correct.
Has brought less downtime, actually zero downtime for all technical reasons, which has increased productivity and ensured that we've actually quite stable in terms of cost.
Yes.
Regarding electricity supply, because yes, Eskom might have tariff increase that NERSA approves and all of the above, but my solar system is at a set rate or set price. Correct. Or an outright purchase, or whatever your system solution is or was going to be. So that's your price. Correct. That's what you pay. You don't pay escalated rates. No. And is this a big benefit to end user?
If you take the projection of where energy costs will be over the next 5 years, and you have a 1.6 to 2.5 year payback on an energy system that will give you 20 to 25 years of fixed energy production, it's a no-brainer. So for a homeowner and a business, whether you end up choosing to finance it or whether you choose to pay it cash, it's a no-brainer. And it's something that every consumer and every end user and every homeowner should look at some point.
So what is your vision for 44 Energy for the next 5 years?
Operating in the residential space right now is very cutthroat. The players trying to operate in the space are not installing compliant installations, and their price point is way below what a professional contractor would do. So the operating space and the vision for 44 Energy is to operate in the commercial space. We've already begun to penetrate the commercial space quite aggressively, stepping into agriculture and ultimately stepping into utility scale projects, which is well within our means. Both partners in the business are registered engineers. My partner is registered with the Engineering Council of South Africa, so we have the ability to design, procure, and install utility scale projects well within our design house.
Cool. I want to step away from business for a moment. And I wanted to dig a bit deeper to the journey. So, if you're comfortable
I am.
going that direction, Trev, 44 Energy wasn't just birthed overnight.
No.
I've kept a close eye on what's happening the last couple of months, years, and so forth. And 44 Energy is showing a seriously upward trend, which is encouraging. And I'm grateful for that, because we've been connected we've been friends
11 years.
for 11 years. I'm saying it on camera. We've been friends for 11 years. So we've had a very close journey together. You've known my ups and downs, and I've been there for your ups and downs as well, Trev. Now, if you can make yourself vulnerable, what was the journey the last 11 years to where you are today?
So the corporate space became too much. So you're sitting in a corporate environment, working for a listed organization, which started off as a family business, but eventually you had this corporate cage that slowly but surely lowered in on the organization as it was acquired from a international conglomerate, if you call it. And that went against the grain of who I am, how I function, how I think, and my inability to operate in a strictly corporate environment. Exiting that space was the best thing that I did, but that did not come without a cost. Exiting a sound space environment and attempting into COVID, coming out of COVID into the current market climate was not a great timing to start your own business, which you'd know. The journey over the last, call it 9 years, of being on my own, attempting one or two partnerships, which did not pan out the way one envisaged, brought us to the space where 44 Energy was born. And you rightfully said 44 Energy is gaining significant traction in the space. Having the ability to do a residential installation, having the understanding of a 200-300 million rand project within our wheelhouse gives us a significant advantage. And it's only a matter of time, and 44 Energy will step into the 400 million rand construction space, because that's well within our capability.
So we're unfortunately going to have to start closing this off. But if you can give anybody who's been or who is currently in maybe the low of their season, what they perceive as the low, but it could be a forming season as well.
Yes.
What advice can you give to them?
Nothing of substance was ever formed without paying a price. Perseverance is the only key. From when you start any business, you as a business owner will know that perseverance and unwavering commitment is the only thing that will bring you through. You cannot motivate yourself alone. You have to persevere through the tough years. Building a business takes, as we know, the statistics say 5 years, and it's only perseverance that will bring you through a season where you will have to pay a price emotionally and physically in this space.
So if there are I know there are some of our viewers who's asking the question, I want to start my own business. I'm working in corporate or whatever the case might be. I want to start my own business. What advice can you give them?
So 44 Energy was started with no money. Everyone's excuse is, well, I don't have the money to start it. You have to start somewhere. Just get it done. You can start a business while you're in an employed state, and you can start a business outside of that. The question is, do I really want this? How badly do I want it? And what am I prepared to put in to make it happen? But drop the excuses and make the decision and get it done.
Last question. Do you think it's a humbling experience?
Very. A business will humble you, and you said it earlier, the shaping. A business will shape your character, it will shape your personality, it will shape your outlook on life, but it will humble you in that process.
So I've seen a common thread the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to close off with this today. Speaking to Nastasia and Albert, speaking to Cindy from Op My Aish, speaking to Tracy, who's Dr. T, who's our resident clinical psychologist for Unfiltered. A common thread here is mental health issues with business owners because of stress, because of you wake up 2 a.m,
Like we did this morning.
We had this conversation off camera. You wake up 1, 2 in the morning and your mind is racing because
You start sending emails.
you start sending emails, you check the bank accounts because you need cash flow for this and that and that. You've got salaries to pay month end, you've got suppliers to pay, and so forth. Now, the reality is that puts a toll on every business owner.
Correct.
And this is going to be an interesting conversation due to the fact that we're going to talk about how it's perceived from your general or your normal employee or friends and family that yes, you're running a business, you're making a whole bunch of money, you've got the easy life, you've got freedom. Look at Trevor's face. Did you see that? He's like, no.
You get paid last.
So, and that's a big fallacy because at the end of the day, yes, even your own team might perceive it as, yeah, they've got everything, they've got this, they've got that, they've got freedom, but they don't know the 2 o'clocks in the morning. They don't know the calls you need to sometimes make to make something happen.
Correct.
You always need to be strategic. You need to be creative within your framework that you've got to work with to make sure that everything happens that needs to happen.
Correct.
So, so to stay mentally sharp and healthy, what do you do to ensure that you don't go down that rabbit hole?
My go-to is my spiritual life, but outside of my spiritual life, you have to remain relaxed. You cannot get yourself worked up over everything because there's no outcome from that. You have to keep a calm demeanor despite the circumstances around you, which in itself is not easy. You have to keep a fitness. You have to remain fit, and you have to get some sleep, even though it does not look like you're going to get sleep. You need to rest.
Yeah. So according to studies, sleep is a majority of your emotional and physical well-being.
Correct.
And it affects all dimensions of your life if you do not sleep well, and obviously proper nutrition. But that's a different conversation.
We're not going to mention the P word.
Anyway, so Trevor, it was truly an honor to have you on Unfiltered AF again, coming
Thank you
back.
for the opportunity.
And I hope a couple of months down the line, we've got you back on Unfiltered AF, and we'll see what the plans have rolled out, how 44 Energy has grown further, what current projects you're busy with. So, but at the end of the day, if there's a question you've got pertaining to especially this space, the renewable energy space, if you've got any questions, please drop a comment onto our channels, onto this YouTube video, even onto our socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, we're all over. So drop a comment. We'll get back to you on
Yes.
that. I'll pass it on to Trev as well. He'll respond accordingly. So thank you once again for watching. Trev, thanks for being here today and sharing. I know it's just a fraction of your journey, but sharing this part of your journey so far, and I hope that you were inspired today. If you want to hear more inspiring stories like Trevor Naude's of 44 Energy, then please like, share, subscribe all our channels, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all over the show, to see more interesting, exciting, uplifting interviews like this one. Till next time, cheers.
Feel the heat. No holding back, no playing it safe. We're taking up space, we're setting the pace. Louder than ever.